Now in part 1 we did the eco printing onto paper. In part 2 we're going to have a look at a similar process onto cloth. Now your cloth has to be a natural fibre. That can be wool, can be silk, can be muslin. In this case, a very fine bamboo based cloth. So everything looks much the same. We're still going to be using the plants, the leaves. We're still going to be laying everything out and squashing it down. The main difference is going to come when we go to the steaming process. So first of all, let's have a look at how we might prepare this piece of fine cloth for eco dyeing. Now, the big surprise from the last session was how beautifully the leaves of the perennial cotton tree came out. However, just because they come out really well on paper does not necessarily mean that they are going to come out well on cloth. But we're going to certainly give them a red hot go. Now here we've got another lovely little leaf off the Loofah vine. Very nice leaf. If that turns out well, we'll be doing well. We'll be very happy. Now this particular piece I am dyeing to form part of a suite of costumes, basically garments and accoutrements related to the Wallam country, which is a kind of heathland, coastal heathland. And so I've selected a lot of plants that come from there, and I'm also wanting to preserve the yellow tones that I have in the other pieces associated with it. And one of the great things that helps me in this is turmeric, which I've mentioned before. So I've added a little bit of water to the turmeric in this case because I don't want it too strong. And we saw in some of the eco-dyed cards that it sort of caked on a little bit, so I certainly want to retain these warm golden colours, but I don't want them to be overpowering. One of our other experiments with the paper was the berries of this edible spinach, the Ceylon or Malabar spinach. Now, they give a lovely purple colour when they're first squashed in, but we saw that not all of it was retained with the final dyeing. However, even if it gives a brown colour, it still adds a lot of interest and charm to the finished product. Other things you can use when eco-dyeing cloth: coffee grounds, tea bags, and other garden plants can often work well. And of course that good old staple, onion skin. And we saw some charming results from the onion skin on the paper. So let's see if we can get some more charming onion skin results on the cloth. Now I'm pulling it out of that central bit because I often get a really sweet effect, like a little sort of flower, little tube flower. So once again, we'll try at the end, once the result is cooked up, to analyse, like we did with the paper, which plants and leaves are giving exciting results, which ones have got promise, and which ones aren't doing much at all. Now these little seed heads here from an aquatic plant called Dwarf Papyrus have given me really good results in the past, but I've used them green, and obviously using them dry is not as effective, but we're still going to give it a whirl. With a bit of luck, we might get some results. Now here was the other really big success from the paper dyeing, the Melastoma, and we'll certainly be using that again. We also got some charming results from Gotukola, so here goes with the Gotukola. Now the dyeing on the paper gives us some clues, but it's not going to be the same as the cloth. Nevertheless, once the cloth is done, it's quite a little artwork in itself. So we're once again going to rely on the onion skin, giving us some nice deep rusty oranges and reds and browns. And I'm dipping it in the water to try to help spread that and help it soak in to the cloth. It's a tough bit, it wants to go down whole. So I'm not trying for a geometrical pattern, I'm more just trying for an overall interesting blend of colours and forms. Now, you noticed, I hope, that we took care to flatten the package with the paper and put pressure on it. Now this time, we're going to find a different way of doing that. So, our cloth is pretty well covered with various leaves and flowers. I might just add a bit more of these berries in the hope that we keep some of that beautiful purple. And we can leave the seeds in, because unlike the paper, we're not going to tear this by having a few lumpy bits. Alright, so how do we achieve the same effect? Well, we have to wind our cloth around something. In this case, we're winding it around a couple of bits of wood. Now before I start, I should try and squash in some of these effects without moving it all too much, I hope. Maybe I'm not going to be able to manage that. More Plectranthus, a bit more Gotukola. Just so we get a design right to the edge. Okay, so now I can't really roll it but I can squeeze it. You can see here, there's quite a bit of liquid coming out of it, which should mean that those leaves are squashing on tightly and imprinting that fine fabric. So, our next trick, now I did say something before about not using plastic. One of my compromises is this bubble wrap. I can tell you it's been used many times and reused. So what I'm going to do is wrap the bottom in the bubble wrap, but I'm leaving the top open so that when I put it in the steam can penetrate. But the other thing I need is this string that I've got handy here. And because we want our cloth to be pressed hard against the leaves, I'm going to do a bit of a sort of sausage wrap here. So, you can just use a rubber band for this, but I prefer the string. So I've got two tight vines here, which we hope are going to guarantee that all the tannins and colouring elements in the leaves are turned into a sort of a soup which will penetrate the fabric. Now once again, 1 hour is what I recommend for this. So we're going to have a look now. We can't use the same small pot we used for the paper. We're going to have to use a larger one. So, this is my steamer for the larger one. I'm going to put it in the water and put my... No, I can't quite do that. Okay, I'm going to have to put my lid on instead. And as you can see, it's not quite going to seal, but it will create a lot of steam. So, we'll put it on now and see what 1 hour of steam can do for our piece of cloth. Here's our bundle. It's been steaming for 1 hour and cooling for 20 minutes. And now we're going to find out whether our leaves imprinted effectively onto the cloth. Edge, so we can see straight away that that turmeric has definitely given the whole piece a golden tone, which is one of our objectives. I'm doing it back to front. So now we're seeing whether we have some effective leaf imprints. So if we zoom in here, we can see a nice imprint of a strawberry leaf there. We can see one of those blue tongue leaves quite clearly there. These are not doing much. Got some nice little leaf effects in here. And our loofah leaf hasn't done much at all. Some nice veins there from the Plectranthus. Nice warm tones from the onion. And we'll take a break now and rinse it out, and then we'll have a look at it once it's been cleaned. So here's our rinsed out piece of cloth. You can see it has really absorbed those warm tones from the turmeric and got lots of beautiful leaf impressions dancing all over it, and some of the purple berries have also come through. So totally different effect from the paper, but much more suitable for cloth.